Hey Internet, this is Gunter with MiniMishaps Games, and today we are on day 18 of our 30-day world building challenge from Tabletop Dungeoneers.
Day 18. What artifacts in your world are sought after? Do they hold true power?
So there are a ton of artifacts. There are constantly being new tombs of old world heroes being opened up, and long buried secrets, and there's lots of history, lots of lore, several story arcs where items were lost or went missing or are still out there somewhere, or an NPC stole them, or any number of things. All different power levels. You have some NPCs that are just looking for sort of family relics that aren't overpowered and aren't really a risk that a player character is going to want to make off with it on their own. And then there is a large power set of god-killing items called the Mundi Nisi, and this is one of the main driving forces for most of the villains, is the ability to fight the gods or to shape reality or those kinds of things. And the set Mundi Nisi was created by the Grommacan gods, the Greco-Roman gods, before they were depowered, because they suspected that they would be depowered, and so they created these items to turn against the other gods, that they would watch over these items and eventually find a singular champion who could wield all of them at once, so that that champion could help them take back the cosmos, get their celestial power back. So the Mundi Nisi is made up of 7 items, and it's body, hand, head, feet, ring, second hand, belt are the body slots. So the first one is the Aspectu Sight, and this is the body slot. It's an eye-shaped brooch that embeds in your chest, but doesn't take up the body slot. It slowly turns you evil. It seeks to reunite with the other pieces for unknown purposes, and it allows you to see any place that you have seen after you put this artifact on, in real time. So if you've ever been there, you can watch what's going on there. And it allows you also to explore remotely from any place that you have seen. And so this was in the custody of Yagzu for a long time, and he was extra lethal with it because he's an immortal and he's been alive for 8,000 years or whatever. So once he got a hold of the Aspectu Sight, he very quickly started exploring the world. The second item in the Mundi Nisi is the Eoculus Caress, and this is a large coin or discus, and so this creates a hand of force that is as strong and dexterous as your own, but can be used on anything within eyesight. So you can see how these start to combine. This item this item with the Aspectu Sight. Now, any place you've ever been is a place where you can have this force hand go to work. And so they compound that way with power. And so the Aspectu Sight and the Eoculus Caress. And then next up, you've got the Kinetis Horn, which is a circlet that goes on the head. And this slowly causes insanity and hearing voices, but it also can record and remember sounds, voices, volumes, and sonic magic, and reproduce those things. So this is can be a pretty rapidly power growing item as you're wearing it. The Ambulate Reach is a set of sandals, and they're covered in etchings of portals. They give the illusion that you're hovering, and this allows you to teleport to any place you remember having been after putting on the sandals. So now you can move around freely within space, especially if you combine it with the Aspectu Sight. You can go to a place, see it, leave, come back with the Eoculus Caress, listen to voices with the Kinetis Horn. So yeah, they really start to become powerful when they're being used together. To date, the most that have ever been combined is 3, and Yagzu was only wearing 2 of them, and the other one was he had sort of enslaved the bearer of the Aspectu Sight. So that's as far as anyone's ever gotten. Yagzu has since been incinerated. It's unknown whether he's actually gone and dead, since he's supposed to be an immortal, but those items were recovered and his castle was destroyed, and now they are spread out all over the universe. Next up, we've got Aspectu Sight, Eoculus Caress, Kinetis Horn, Ambulate Reach, and the Gustum Tongue, which is a ring. I know, for being called a tongue, it's a ring. That's weird. But the ring looks like fangs reaching towards the person that's wearing it. Causes you to hunger for larger and larger amounts of material because it creates a mouth on your hand that can change matter from one material to another. It can only do that in the size of things that are mouth. It cannot imbue magic. Any magic material put through it the magic is lost or rejected. And so this eventually, if you don't get it paired up with the other pieces, will eat you inside out, will rip you apart, because you constantly, it needs more and more, and eventually you just can't put it into the mouth hand fast enough. So, alright, then we've got the Salutum Cure. This is another hand slot. This is a rod with carved snakes and a pair of wings. And this starts to drain the people around you if you spend too much time with this equipped. And it causes the wearer to quickly regenerate damage and the ability to redistribute hit points between allies with touch. And for a long time, this was thought to be an inherent ability of our universe's head vampire, the vampire lord, but in reality he had come across this item which allowed him to sort of vampirize people within touch range in mass and not have to eat them the messy way. The Cronin Clasp is the last piece of the Mundinisi, and it's a belt, and it becomes cloth body wraps, which are constantly wrapping, unwrapping, and it allows you to go to any point in time you've already been. It counts as actually being there. You can learn from it, but you can't change the past. So your present self can be damaged by the things you encounter in the past, and your body is vulnerable when you're reliving time travel. So Yagzu also then affixed little blades to the ends of the cloth wraps, which became a really lethal. Don't come within 20 feet of Yagzu because he'll turn you into ribbons kind of a deal. So those are some of the big artifacts in the Getherverse, and we'll tell you more tomorrow. Thank you so much for watching my video, and if you like what you saw, go ahead and subscribe, and you can support us on Patreon or buy me a coffee, and we will see you for the next video. Thanks, Internet.